Primetime local news, serving the Lakeland and Midwest regions.
Good evening and welcome to Primetime Local News. Today, Saskatchewan entered slowdown mode in an effort to curb the spread of COVID-19 and includes a new set of restrictions. Masks are now mandatory throughout the entire province, and gathering inside homes are limited to a maximum of 5 people. All visits to long-term care homes are also suspended except for compassionate reasons. The measures are in effect until at least December 17th, when the province will revisit whether further restrictions are necessary. Saskatchewan is reporting 98 new cases of COVID-19. 12 are in the Northwest Zone, which includes Lloydminster and North Battleford. There are 175 active cases in our zone and 2,066 province-wide. 83 people are in hospital, including 5 in our zone. 21 people are in intensive care. 132 more people have recovered. The Lloydminster Interval Home Society is celebrating 40 years in the community. Earlier today, they celebrated with members of the community by sharing a video commemorating the decades they've shared in the border city.
The scope of Interval Home now is fantastic. I could never have imagined that it would help so many people.
The video featured the staff at the Lloydminster Interval Home Society and members of the community who spoke about the society's impact. They wanted to express their gratitude to the people of Lloydminster.
We wanted to celebrate that with our community, because without our community of supporters, whether it be volunteers, community partners, donors, funders, or our staff, we wouldn't continue to be as vitally important as we are in the community of Lloydminster, and be as supported as we are and able to continue to do the work that we do.
The full video about the 40 years of the society is available on the Interval Homes YouTube channel. The second annual Festival of Lights is coming up to get residents in the Christmas spirit. The Kiwanis Park will be lit up every night during the holidays after the official lighting, and people can join virtually this year. Our Shelby Clark has more.
I'm speaking with Vera Gallant with the Lloydminster Kiwanis Club. How are you today?
I'm awesome, Shelby. How are you today?
I'm doing very good.
Good.
So I wanted to talk about the second annual Festival of Lights. What's this official lighting ceremony all about?
Well, this is very exciting for me anyway, and I'm sure for the whole community. This was a project we launched last year. I actually saw the park in Airdrie, and that's where I got the idea from. Took it forward to our club, and they supported us, and so we launched our first Festival of Lights last year. And the reason for doing this, and especially this year, more than ever, I think we need to spread joy and love and encouragement to everyone. And I think our Festival of Lights will accomplish that. I know it certainly did last year. I myself had probably 50 phone calls thanking us for what we did, and one lady left a message which brought me to tears because she told me that we made her Christmas. So that's what gives me the passion to do what we're doing.
And last year, was there lots of support for the first ever Festival of Lights with residents?
Oh, the neighborhood where Kiwanis Park is located is awesome. We don't have to worry about security because they've taken ownership and they watch out. And yes, we've had super support from the community and from the neighborhood.
And can you kind of expand on why you believe this is something needed in the Lloydminster community, especially during the holidays?
Well, Kiwanis is all about serving the children in our communities and in the world and trying to make a difference in their lives. And if you touch a child, you definitely touch a family as well, right? So to me, if we can bring any kind of joy to a child, to an adult, to a family, that is why this is so important to me and to our club.
Where is the second annual Festival of Lights going to be held, and what time does it start?
Okay, for those who do not know where the park is, we are located just one block west of Tate's Liquor Store. That's on Highway 17 North. And I believe the address is 56 Beach Street and 51st Avenue. And the speeches will start around 4 o'clock, and the official lighting will take place at 4:30. So we look forward to seeing a lot of the community members present for a bigger and better Festival of Lights.
And with COVID-19 this year, what's going to be changed and what safety procedures will be put in place for this?
What we were able to do last year was serve hot dogs and hot chocolate and tea and cookies. Unfortunately, because of COVID, we cannot do that this year. So we're inviting people to come and stay in their cars as much as possible. But the park is fairly large, and we do have pathways. So we're certainly going to invite any of our sponsors to come and be present at the park, and hopefully they will be able to be recognized. But you know what? We're not going to let COVID stop us from just going out there and having fun and spreading joy.
And can you kind of explain more what's all going to be happening for this official lighting ceremony? This is November 29th, correct?
Yes, it is. We will start with some speeches where we can recognize the donors and give us an opportunity to publicly thank all those who supported us financially and through all sorts of donations. And then at 4:30, our mayor will have the privilege of turning on the lights.
And that's really great to hear. Is there anything else you want to add for residents to know about concerning Festival of Lights?
Just come out. The lights will be lit for a month. We probably won't shut them off until January 2nd or 3rd. So just take this opportunity for the month and drive by and or walk through the park and enjoy it as much as we do.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for joining me today, Vera.
You're very welcome. Thank you for asking me.
Alberta's 4 major crop commissions will play a larger role in producers' crops, taking over the Crop Protection Guide. Eric Bay has more on the change.
Previously published by Alberta Agriculture, the Crop Protection Guide, better known as the Blue Book, was cut this year. Alberta's wheat, canola, pulse growers, and barley commissions took up the book, noting the value it provides producers.
With some of the recent changes at Alberta Agriculture, it was one of the things that was at risk of slipping through the cracks. So the Commission's recognizing that this is one of the most valuable tools that farmers use throughout their growing season. We wanted to make sure that we were able to continue that.
The Blue Book provides labels for every crop protection product producers use, letting them know the possible effects on their crops.
Helps them in their crop planning, helps them in their decision making. We know lots of guys take notes, buy multiple copies, leave them in their sprayers in their trucks. So we just know that it's one of the most used resources because that's very important decision making that goes on.
Despite switching publishers, no changes will be made to the book by the commissions. With a project this size, the goal is to deliver the same information in 2021.
We have added a few more resources to it, some information on nozzle selection from Sprayers 101, some safety information from AgSafe Alberta. So we've started adding in some information, but we are going to be actively seeking feedback and looking at different ways that we might be able to, improve it or make it better for farmers going down the road.
The Blue Book will be available in March, both in print and digitally. Eric Bay, Primetime Local News.
Now we'll take a look at your ag prices. Last weekend in the AJHL, the majority of teams kicked off their 2021 regular season. The only two teams that did not are the Lloydminster Bobcats and the Whitecourt Wolverines. Evan Kenny is joined by Wolverines play-by-play announcer in this week's Around the AJHL.
I'm pleased to be joined today for this week's Around the AJHL by the Whitecourt Wolverines play-by-play man, Wyatt Ziegler. Wyatt, thank you very much for joining me.
Thanks for having me, Evan. I miss you.
Now, Wyatt, it has been a while since we last chatted, and in that time, the Whitecourt Wolverines did play your full exhibition season where they split games with Grand Prairie. I guess, first of all, Wyatt, just give me your thoughts on how that exhibition season went.
I thought the exhibition season went very well. It felt like regular season hockey to me, mostly because most of these kids hadn't played since March. So there was really no time to lollygag or try to get yourself back into the game. Like, it was from the first whistle, bang, bang hockey. And, a 2-2 split, maybe not something ideal, but at least we escaped knowing a little bit more about our team and what kind of challenges we were going to face during the season. And we've made some moves to adjust accordingly. And I'm just excited to get this regular season underway Friday.
Now, with these extra exhibition games this year, obviously due to the pandemic, how much do you think that helps just building that team chemistry early on?
Well, I think it helped a lot of other teams more than it helped us because, as you know, we had a positive test come in and we actually ended up having to cancel our games against Drayton Valley. So we missed out on a couple of opportunities. In fact, I mean, you talked about the 4 exhibition games with Grand Prairie. We haven't played a game against another team in almost a month now. And you include 2 weeks of that where everyone had to isolate and the boys couldn't practice. I mean, this week is a very, very hard week of practice because you've almost got to make up for a month's worth of time in between playing games.
Series coming up this weekend against the Bonnyville Pontiacs. What do you expect coming out of this series, and do you have any expectations for the Wolverines here?
Well, the Wolverines, the last team to play their first game of the regular season. So, I don't expect a sluggish start. I think the boys should be coming out firing on all cylinders. It's hard to win any games in the AJHL. I would like to say it's a sweep this weekend, but I think we're probably going to be looking at some closely contested games. I would almost expect a little bit of overtime and maybe even a split in this one. I think Bonnyville probably pulls out one on Saturday, and I think we probably win this opener on Friday.
And now Bonnyville and Whitecourt, two of the teams that have sort of historically over the last 5 or so seasons been atop of that north. Now Whitecourt, you guys are adding an assistant coach, Taylor Vallon, to the team. I guess just take me through how that process was made and what Vallon brings to the table here.
He brings some experience, and especially coaching with the younger boys. He's been a part of the AAA Fort Sask Rangers for a number of years, and now he gets to make the jump up. It's never bad to have some more minds behind the bench, especially going into this year when there's just so many question marks and it's an extra ear for the boys to talk to, but it's also an extra pair of eyes on the ice every single night. And that doesn't include some players like Adam Sandstrom, who's went over the Ottawa GGs. He's back now, just helping out a little bit behind the scenes. And I think it just brings a little more balance to the team as well.
Now, you touch on Adam Sandstrom there. I actually did have a question about who do you think is going to fill in his roles, not just, as a number one D-man who's eating up 30 minutes a night, but as well, in that leadership role too.
I think those are some hard boots to fill. On the back end, you have to look at guys returning like Ben Wood and Ethan Green, Matt Sanders, who's coming back as well from the Saskatoon Blades, and then a new addition in Jake Lee from the Kelowna Rockets. But that is just that's a lone basis until the WHL gets going on. But I think it's really going to be by committee because I don't think any one guy can replace that. We're still yet to announce a leadership group here in Whitecourt. We have the assistants. We don't really have the captain yet. That'll be coming soon enough. But I think it's a group effort. It's not just one guy. It's a good locker room of kids, and I'd say it's a pretty tight-knit group this year. And regardless of who it is that steps up, I think the team's going to be in good hands between the coaching staff and the players that are on the ice.
game time decision is what I'm hearing, as the Whitecourt Wolverines will kick off their 2020-21 season here on Friday and on Saturday against the Bonnyville Pontiacs. Wyatt, thank you very much for taking this time and joining me.
Thanks for having me again, Evan.
Now we're Connor Chan. We'll take a look at your weather forecast.
All right, thanks a lot, Jasmine. Yeah, we didn't get the amount of snow that we were expecting, but we did see a little bit of that kind of in the blowing within the wind early in the morning and in early parts of the afternoon here. But right now, sitting at -13 still for us here in Lloydminster, -12 in Athabasca, Edmonton, and Edson, along with other places at -13 as well in Whitecourt and Rocky Mount House, -10 in Jasper right now. Taking a look in Saskatchewan, we see -10s in Melfort, Saskatoon, and North Battleford, then -11 in Meadow Lake and in Cold Lake as well. Now taking a look northern up north in northern Alberta and Saskatchewan, -11 in La Loche and in Buffalo Narrows, -10 in La Ronge and in Flin Flon. Then very cold temperatures up in Wollaston Lake sitting at -17 right now, then -16 up in Uranium City and in Stony Rapids as well. Looking at northern Alberta, kind of similar temperatures there. We see -14s in High Level and Peace River, -15 for Grand Prairie, -12 in Fort Chipewyan and Slave Lake, and then -11 right now in Fort McMurray. Now taking a look at southern Saskatchewan and Alberta right now, -8 in Lethbridge and -9 for Medicine Hat, -12 in Calgary with -14 in Coronation, and then Banff sitting currently right now at -6. Then we taking a look at Kindersley at -11, -4 for Moose Jaw. Then we see -5s in Regina, -7 in Yorkton, and then -2 in Estevan. As we take a look across the country, going from the east coast here, -3s we see in Quebec City and in Winnipeg, lots of cloud coverage there. 14 degrees in Toronto. They're back up to those double-digit positive temperatures. -3 in St. John's and then 0 in Halifax right now. Regina sitting at -5, as we mentioned, with some cloud coverage. Same in Edmonton with that -12. Vancouver had also some clouds at 8 degrees, and then we see Yellowknife, with -18 and a little bit of snow coming down, and then we see -17 up in Whitehorse as well. Now, as we take a look at what we could see for tomorrow here, -12 for us is the daytime high, so kind of similar to what we have today, but just minus the snow that we could see in the morning that we saw this morning. We're not going to have that for tomorrow, but -10 in Vermilion, -12 in Marwayne for tomorrow, -5 in Edmonton, so a little bit warmer out there, -9s in St. Paul, Vegreville, -10 in Bonnyville and Cold Lake, -8 in Provost and Macklin for tomorrow, and we also see -12 consistently up in Saskatchewan in Maidstone, St. Walburg, Meadow Lake, and Green Lake as well. So here's a look at the next 7 days here. So we're going to still see some fairly colder temperatures as well, kind of, so we could get that wind chill, make it feel so like -20. But looking at Saturday, a little bit warmer, and hopefully some more sun coming at -5, -8 on Sunday, and then -9 on Monday. Lots of cloud coverage continuing on over the next couple of days there. -5 on Tuesday. We could see some more snow on Wednesday with a 77% chance of some snow there, and -6, and then we'll see -9 as the daytime high for Thursday. We could see more colder temperatures with the wind adding that wind chill factor. That is a look at your 7-day forecast. We'll have more primetime local news after the break.
I'm joined today on Primetime Local News by Sean Delaney. And Sean, I happened to catch an ad for your very unique Saskatchewan-made product. The product itself, you guys make them in Glassland, and they're called Sask Watches. And they do feature the little Sask Watch logo. Tell me a little bit about this venture. The watches are gorgeous. And tell me how you came to get this all together.
It originally started, I was driving home from work. I think it was back in 2017, and I kept thinking of a little venture that I wanted to do, and the name Sask Watches popped in my head, and I just kind of kept thinking about it, and then I finally decided to pull the trigger on it because I thought it was just such a funny and interesting name, I guess, that it might catch on, and it kind of actually has started to catch on a little bit.
Now, tell me about the watch itself. Like, it seems kind of strange just to say, hey, I can start making watches. Do you have a history of actually building watches and jewelry, or how did you get to the point where you can actually build the watches?
So actually, I've no experience in any of this previously, but my dad actually showed me some wood watches that I thought were really cool, and I was at the time kind of trying to do my own little woodworking side business thing as well. And I thought to myself, oh, I can try and make some of those, but they didn't turn out that great. So we did actually have to end up starting to purchase some of the parts and then put it together. But that's kind of how it all started. It was just my dad.
And now I have a chance to look at some of the watches. You have men's and you have women's watches. Are they all basically made out of wood?
Yeah, probably 90% of it's all wood. Then there's the glass, just the crystal on it, and then a couple metal parts. But the whole back is wood. There's the metal clasp. And yeah, probably 90% of it's all wood, even the base of the watch.
What has the response been to this so far? Obviously, it's a unique name and a unique product, and Saskatchewan made. I know a lot of people are looking to buy stuff from Saskatchewan at this point. Have you had really a good response to seeing a lot of people order?
Yeah, actually, I'm not sure if it's just because of the state of the world that we're in right now, but lots of people are ordering online, and we've seen a huge boost in the last couple of months lately. We get a lot of people email us saying how happy they are to see something in Saskatchewan, and the whole Saskatchewan aspect of it's actually kind of been mind-blowing to support just for that aspect of all.
Now, can people still order and get the watches if they're looking for Christmas gifts? Can they get them in time for Christmas? Is that an option right now?
Yeah. There's what we have on the website right now, you will be able to get for Christmas. But what I would say right now is not to wait if it's something that you are looking at. We already have had, I believe, 2 of our main selling designs already sold out now, and those won't be restocked for Christmas.
And if people would like to place an order, Sean, what is the best way to do it? Is it through your social media, or is it through the website, or is either fine? What do you think is the best way for people to go ahead and have a look at the watches and place their orders?
The best way would be through our website. Definitely.
Okay, and what is the website address?
It's www.saskwatches.ca.
Okay, great. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Sean. Again, unique designs, and the wood watches are just beautiful. We really appreciate it. You talking to us today. So good luck with the venture. And are we going to see an expansion, do you think, in the future to other products, or are you just going to stick with watches for now?
Well, first off, thank you. And we did have sunglasses previously, but we kind of cut that back down. Hopefully back in the near future, we'll expand into more things, but we're just concentrating on watches for right now.
Okay, great. Well, thank you. Good luck once again. And again, amazing product. Sask Watches, just a cool name, cool product. And again, thank you for taking the time to join us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Really appreciate it.
Well, joining us today is Dr. Becky Newman from the Lloydminster Animal Hospital. Now, Dr. Newman, it's that time of year where it's going to get colder, and we're going to start to see those minus 30 and colder temperatures fairly soon. So to reiterate for pet owners, what can people do to be mindful when it comes to their pets and cold weather?
So I guess, just like people, pets have different levels of tolerance to the cold. And a lot of that is going to depend upon their hair coat, how long it is, how thick it is. Some of it will depend upon their body fat stores. How old are they? How active are they? Are they in good health? All of those things are going to affect how long and how cold a pet can tolerate. I don't think there's any number in particular. It would really depend upon, the breed, the age, and those things that I talked about. Generally speaking, if it's too cold for you to really want to go out for a long walk, it's likely too cold for your dog to want to go out for a long walk. And same with cats. A lot of cats prefer to spend more of their time inside in the winter. Of course, we have that population of community cats, feral cats that spend all of their time outdoors. And, when possible, if you're able to provide some shelter and food for those pets, that would always be helpful to them.
Now, one thing I wanted to touch on was how serious frostbite and hypothermia can be for both dogs and cats and animals in general. And also from your perspective, Dr. Newman, is there a bit of easing up on dog owners a little bit this time of year for maybe not taking their dogs out as much because of how cold it can get here in the prairies?
Oh gosh, every spring we see dogs come in that have put on that winter weight, right? But I think in the winter, it's still really important to get your dog out for a walk. Sometimes they need to just be shorter walks and more walks, trying to get them out maybe on 2 or 3 short walks per day, as opposed to that one really big long walk. And take the cues from your dog. You know, if you have a short-haired dog with sensitive feet, I mean, get them used to wearing a jacket or a sweater. There are booties you can put on your dog. Not every dog tolerates those. But you can certainly give that a try. And if you're out walking your dog and you notice that they're starting to pick their feet up and down and just acting like they're cold, it's probably time to turn around and head home. In terms of hypothermia, we don't see a lot of true hypothermia cases, but I think what you need to watch for is dogs that are outside for extended periods of time. You know, they will be shivering, they'll be acting really lethargic. If we see them, they often have a low heart rate and difficulty breathing. Best thing is to bring those pets into a warm place and surround them with some warm blankets that have been in the dryer, and just gradually increase that body temperature again. Frostbite, I would say we tend to see more in cats, and primarily that outdoor cat population. And with frostbite, it affects the extremities, so the ears, the tails, the feet. And when those cats first come in from outside, you'll see that the skin it's cold to the touch. It's maybe pale or blue in color even. But then once it starts to warm up, then it gets really red and hot and inflamed. And that's when frostbite becomes quite painful. And so we will often see those pets to start them on anti-inflammatory medications. If you find a pet who has you think has frostbite and you're bringing it in to warm it up, always warm it up gradually. Same thing, warm towels that have been in the dryer, things like that to gradually warm it. Don't rub it too vigorously or squeeze it, because that can actually cause more damage. And the unfortunate thing with frostbite is it can take time, up to 2 weeks, for us to really know the extent of the damage and what tissue might not be viable anymore. And we certainly do we see cats with frozen ears where the ears have fallen off and maybe they need antibiotics if they're a bit infected. We do certainly amputate tails occasionally from severe cases of frostbite. But, it can take a bit of time to know for sure the extent of the damage with frostbite.
Should dog owners have some concern when it comes to walking them on sidewalks that have been de-iced with those melting salts or other kinds of chemicals?
For sure. If you're out walking your dog and you've come across some salty sidewalks or, salt on the road, things like that, when you get your pet home, it never hurts to just take a rag and wipe those feet and get them as clean as you can again. If the, dogs then go to grooming themselves and they lick all of that salt off their feet or the chemical in the de-icer, there is more of a chance probably of stomach upset than a really severe toxicity. I encourage people to use, there are more pet-friendly de-icers on the market, and they're labeled like that. There's lots of different brands to buy, but they certainly are a little bit friendlier on our pets' feet. If you're walking your dog outside a lot in the winter, just check their foot pads. Check for any cracks, any dry foot pads, things like that. Sometimes they will actually crack and bleed, just like our hands do. And there are some good ointments you can use for that. I know we have one at the clinic called BioBalm that I really like. It's like an ointment that you rub into the feet, and it's really good at moisturizing those foot pads in this cold weather.
And lastly, Dr. Newman, is there anything else that you'd like to add on top of what we already discussed?
I guess the only other thing that I had kind of thought about is, that community cat population, outdoor cats, sometimes they're looking for a warm place to stay warm in the winter. And so they'll sometimes crawl up inside motors and engines of vehicles. So if you live somewhere where cats like to do that, just, banging on your hood or honking your horn, something like that before you just start your engine up, just to give those cats a bit of fair warning to find someplace else.
Well, Dr. Newman, I really appreciate your time, and thank you so much for joining us and giving us some helpful ways that we can make sure that our dogs and cats stay warm this winter season. So thank you. All right, taking one last look here at your weather forecast. -12 for tomorrow, and it could feel a little bit colder with that wind chill. -5 on Saturday as we warm up a little bit there. We'll hopefully get some more sun there. -8 on Sunday with -9 on Monday. So we're going to have some continued cloud coverage. We could see a little bit more sun coming on Saturday, on Sunday as well. We look into Tuesday there, -5 is the expected daytime high there. Still kind of feeling warmish, but then we could see some snow coming on Wednesday there. We'll have some sun and cloud mixes throughout the day. And then as we get into Thursday, -9, those cold temperatures continuing on as we are carrying over from the few days before there. But as we look at our averages, we usually average -5 for our daytime high and average -17 for our daytime low.
Thank you for joining us on Primetime Local News. Have a great night.